next time you need auto parts and accessories, trust the parts professionals at the 108 Seattle O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Our professional parts people know what it takes to get the job done right. Professionals have counted on O'Reilly Auto Parts for decades. Now you can too. Professional parts people, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello everyone and welcome to my show. It's Friday again and I'm your host Diana Bellaros, award-winning author and best-selling author Fire and Ice, Ashes and Ice Saga, The Journey of Transformation, and The White Within. Available for sale on Amazon, and you can find my books also on Barnes & Noble and Infinity Publishing, my publisher. Today we have a very interesting guest as always. Amazing woman who is trying to help others improve their relationships, and their wife, of course, she's dedicating her time, and her name is Kinia Colbert. Initiative and empathetic approach enable her to create a safe space for powerful transformation and help her clients discover the root cause of their barriers. A visionary with a successful coaching business since 2007. She holds a Bachelor in Psychology, is a member of the International Coaching Federation with an ACC Life Coaching credential. Her coaching methods teach her clients to think clearly and to make confident decisions. Kenia's passion is showing people their value and a wonderful message and gift to share with the world, and she's here today to tell us everything, of course, about herself and her career and what she does for other people. So, hi, Kinia Colbert. How are you today?
Hello, Deanna. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. I feel wonderful. Thank you for being on my show, and thank you so much for what you do. It's amazing.
You are so welcome. I actually love every second of everything that I do. Again, my name is Kinia Colbert, and I am the owner of Dreamcatcher Coaching Academy. I work with people and help them to achieve their dreams and whatever goals they have set. Sometimes it's not just career, sometimes it's personal. I help them to find peace and understanding with whatever their purpose is in life. You know, once we figure out what we were put here to do, it's easier to go out and achieve those goals. So I work very hard with helping people to understand themselves, understand what their purpose is, help them discover their passions. Sometimes we are unaware of what we are supposed to be doing. Me, myself, I was the same way. I started out just knowing that I love people, knowing that I enjoy talking to people. I love hearing people talk about themselves and discovering the great parts of life. I just want to help women and men, everybody, empower themselves, because there is such an inner power that comes from understanding yourself first. And then you can look out into the rest of the world and then try to do even more. So that's where I live every day. I live inside of coaching and helping people to just find peace and find understanding about themselves.
Can you tell us what life coaching is?
Life coaching? Well, there are different levels to life coaching. And again, my biggest challenge, I think, in coaching is helping people to find and understand exactly what they are supposed to be doing, you know, so that they can have personal growth and achieve their goals. So life coaching helps you to understand exactly what your purpose is. It helps you to achieve those things by first understanding why there's a block, why there's something that's keeping you from achieving the things that you want. And believe it or not, most of us do have blocks and things that we've put aside and pushed to the back that hinder us from achieving our goals. But we're not aware of those things. So I help you. I help you by going in. And of course, a life coach helps you to look forward. We take where you are right now, find out where you want to go. It's a roadmap. It's a journey. So we pick up from where you are now and move towards whatever your goal is. Sometimes in being a coach, in order to go forward, we have to look back just a little bit to see what's blocking you. My job is to help clear up that blockage, give you that self-esteem, give you that power that you need to push everything aside out of your brain that's keeping you from doing whatever you need to do. And it's like looking inside of a house sometimes. I think about that. When you're inside your house and you're looking out, everything looks scary, everything looks, or it looks inviting. There's always an emotion that comes from looking outward. But when you look inward, a lot of people find fear. They're afraid to see what's on the inside. I help them to see what's on the inside so that they are not afraid to go to the outside.
Who is your ideal client?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Who is your ideal client?
Oh, my ideal client?
Yeah.
My ideal client are people who are willing and open-minded, people who are looking for peace within themselves, people who are at the point in their lives where they're frustrated with the way things have been, or they're not completely happy with their journey so far. They feel that they have the potential to do more, to be more, and they come more willing. It's hard to just have anyone to walk inside of a coaching session and say, okay, hey, let's just figure out what's going on with you. Because if they're not ready to express that, and if they're not ready to deal with it themselves, then you're going to have a tug of war with that person. So my ideal client would be somebody who's really at that point of discovery, self-discovery. They want to know, they want to achieve, they want to do more. So they come to me and they say, hey, I think, Kinia, that maybe there's so much more I should be doing. Can you help me do that? Can you help me achieve that? And that's my ideal client.
Have you had
Somebody.
difficulties with a client who you feel it's not ready to help him or herself, because sometimes people are so difficult, like you said, to work with? What is your approach with this? What is your approach with these kind of people who are very, very, they're not ready, they're just difficult to work with, they're just so lost, so like they don't have hope for the future, they have low self-esteem? Have you had these kind of individuals call you and try to find help from you?
Definitely, Deanna, definitely. Even though they might not be what others might consider, and even myself at sometimes, the idea client, they are the ones who need me the most. So we have coaching tools that we use, different tools that help to build self-esteem, that help to build self-confidence, that gives you the ability to, and I call it a rearview mirror in your car. It gives you the ability to look at what you left behind without turning around, going back to it. As you're going forward, as you're driving down the street towards your destination, sometimes it's good to look back at what you left behind so that you understand why you're going forward. So those people who have the low self-esteem, or they have challenges in their life that might be holding them bondage so that they can't move forward. That's an opportunity for me to challenge myself, to see if I can build a trust with that person, build a trust so that we can talk about it. You know, sometimes when you just discuss, it's amazing how there are times when a listening ear can heal the spirit. You know, it can heal the soul because I'm not judging. My job is not to judge. Whatever you tell me within our sessions, it's in confidence, you know. It's confidential. I'm not going to tell anybody about it. And it takes people sometimes a little bit more than a couple of sessions to gain trust. Because, you know, trust is earned. So I have to prove myself to them so that they feel comfortable talking to me. And one way that I work really well with people is that I give my own life experiences of things that I've been through to break the ice, to let you know that divorce is not bad. I've been divorced. You know, I've lived there. I've walked in your shoes. I understand the challenges of that. You know, I understand the challenges of wanting to achieve things that might not have worked the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time that I might have tried them. And it really works for people to understand that sometimes failure builds character. You know, and I use that because I have a lot of people that are career-minded and that want to build their own businesses, and they want to do a lot of different projects and activities, but because they've been knocked down so many times, they feel like giving up. And my job is to show them that every time you get knocked down, you just have to find it within yourself to get back up, because the way that you do that is by deciding what's important. You know, what's important in your spirit, not worrying about what other people think, not worrying about being judged by other people, just trying to grow yourself. How do we grow you? What makes you happy? What's your dream life? And they give me everything that they think is supposed to be a dream life. And then we look at those things one by one. And sometimes they find out that the things that they thought were like creme de la creme, the greatest of the greatest, really were just in the wrong priority. They were putting them up on high when they should have been down low. And then the things that they were just brushing aside, thinking that, oh, you know, maybe spending time, you know, I'm giving up time with my family to build my business. And then we reprioritize that. You know, I let them see the benefits of how your family, how your support group, your foundation gives you something to stand on while you're trying to build. And that really does help those people who might have low self-esteem and they might have a lack of confidence in themselves because they haven't seen themselves achieve very much. So we start around about there in that area right there.
Have you had a case? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry? I was just going to say nothing's easy.
Yeah. No. There's no easy. There is no easy in life.
Yeah, nothing's easy. Nothing's easy, but it's worth it if you achieve it. Even if you don't achieve, and you know that saying that says, you know, as long as you shoot for the stars, and you just got to do something. Keep moving, and you'll even be satisfied with going from A to D, even if you don't make it to Z. Because A to Z is the end of the game. I don't want to get to Z yet. I'm enjoying the journey, so I teach people to enjoy the journey. Enjoy A, B, C, and D. Yeah, that's a good ride. let's take our time and build this thing and make it worthwhile.
Have you had a customer who told you that he or she wants to be somebody like it's having a huge dream, and did you have to tell them, wow, this dream is huge. Are you sure you want to go after that? Have you had cats like this?
I think that everybody overreaches at some point, even myself. I know that when I am trying to create my own journey of, and I get to the finish line and I say, okay, this is my Z. I'm here at D, I'm here at F, but I want to be at Z. And along the way, you find out if Z is where you really want to be. See, a lot of people say, hey, I want to be the biggest star in the world, and then we have to start looking at all that it takes to do that. And I do that. I sit with them. I do my research. I help them to see it from the inside out. Where you say you want to be, and that's cool. That's cool. You can do all of that, but you're going to have to dedicate a lot to do that. Now, will you achieve what someone else has achieved? I'm not sure. Only God can speak to that. Only God knows what we are destined to be. But you have to reach. So I don't deter anyone. I don't tell them that that it's not feasible. It's not. I don't know. I don't know what they are destined to be. But I do know that if they work towards it, whatever they become, it should be worth their while. I do. Now, if they say they want to be the Queen of England or something like that, I'm like, what? You're going to have to do a whole lot of other things other than what we're doing now, but I'm not saying it's not possible. But anything is possible in my mind.
Yeah, that's how I feel also. Anything is possible as long as you work towards your dreams, your hopes, and it takes a lot of work to do it, and everybody knows where is the limit. Like you said, if you want to be the Queen of England, it's a dream which probably would never happen, but
right.
Who knows?
I mean, if we look at the regular work, if we look at what's directly in front of us, and if you keep doing what you're doing, and if you're where you are now, the possibilities are probably slim to none. But if you make some changes, you might get to at least visit England, even if you don't get to become the queen. I had a lady once that said that, she wanted to, be a superstar, and she wanted to be an actress, and that was a goal of hers. And she wanted to play these wonderful roles, and that is cool, and you can do that, but you've got to, what you're doing right now, and I'll ask people in a second, do you believe that what you're doing now is going to help you to get where you want to go? And most people, and that's that ideal client I was telling you about, will be pretty honest and say, well, no, but that's why I'm here with you. And I'm like, thank you for coming to me. Because my job is to help you to achieve and I again, Deanna, let me just say this. I really don't like it. It's like trying to tell a kid that there are just certain things you can't do in life because you're not destined to be that. I don't tell them that. I just try to give them the realistic steps and the realistic chances of that happening. Like lottery. Hey, you can hit the lottery, but the chances are like 1,000,000,000 to 1. But there's still a chance you might hit it. So, there you go. There's always that opportunity. There's always that one chance in a million. And there are so many people who are entertainers, who are stars, who are writers, who are politicians who said, I didn't see myself being here as a kid. I didn't see myself being here as an adult. But something happened in the universe, and everything adjusted itself, and the stars aligned. And lo and behold, one day the sky is open, and ding, God reached down, and I became this. And I did not see it. So I live inside of that world that says that if you want it bad enough, work towards it. And if the universe aligns itself and everything works in your favor, there is a possibility.
Absolutely. That's how I feel also. And I always see things like this. If what you do feels right and easier for you. You don't have to put a lot of effort from yourself. I think this is what you should do. This is who you are. Makes you happy, and it works. I think this is the way. Yeah, this is the way you should act. This is who you are, because it gives you satisfaction. It makes you happy, and it helps others.
Yes, I agree totally. Totally agree with that. Definitely. And that's the attitude, because in coaching, it is about your attitude. It is that attitude that says that I can do it if I try. I can achieve these things in life. And sometimes, Deanna, it's really like a powerful moment for me, that aha moment in a session when a person just wants to be happy. They are not like trying to achieve these amazing feats in life. They're just like, I just want to be happy. I want to feel good about myself when I wake up in the morning. I want to go to sleep at night and actually sleep and not toss and turn and not dread the next day. And I want to look at my family and appreciate them. And I want to appreciate my children. And I want to just be happy. And that's that client that says, help me get that. And I do everything within my power to help them to do that, because they have already took the first step, which is to admit that they want this thing. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And it's so funny, because a lot of times their success might not be what others would consider to be successful. They might think that, oh, okay, well, wow, yeah, but you're happier now, but did you go and run the road race? But that was not their goal. My job is to help them find what they are looking for. What is that special thing that makes you feel good about yourself? What makes you smile when you look in the mirror? It might be weight. It might be being mistreated at work. It might be people judging them. People come to life coaches for so many different reasons. And again, we do have the career coaches, and we do have the different, even family children coaches. We do have different levels of coaching, but at the end of the day, everybody has the same goal, which is to be happy with their life, to feel like that they are not wasting the time that God has given them here on this earth, to feel like that they are powerful in themselves, they are powerful around themselves, that they are not worried or concerned with what the world might think. That's a powerful moment to me, when you come into a place where you feel confident, because we're all conscious of what the world thinks. But will it rule who you are? Will it rule your decisions? Will it change the steps that you are going to make, that were going to make you feel good about yourself? But somebody else said that, nah, I don't see you doing that. I don't think you'd be really good at that, honey. That's just not. Why don't you try this? And my job is to say, you know what, let's block that person out. Let's talk to your spirit. Let's talk to your soul. What do you want? What are you looking for? What does your dream life look like? And that's where I start.
Yeah, that's true. Have you had a case where you have to bring a family member or a spouse to talk to them who are against somebody's dreams and hopes?
And the question is, has there been a case where a family member has been brought in?
Yeah.
I have had that with, now let me say this, I've had a case like that, but it was in the middle of a separation between a husband and a wife. But in order for one to find peace, we actually had to bring them both in. And they took the sessions together because they intertwined. They were one. You can't fix half of your body and the other half is not fixed because they work together. You know, they move as one, even though it's different sides of your body. So it really worked really well when we got beyond the anger. You know, sometimes we appear to be sad when we're angry. We appear to be downtrodden, but actually we're mad. You know, we're mad that we're in this situation. and we get mad at other people. You know, and sometimes either we express that the wrong way or we don't express it at all.
Yeah, just feel it inside.
Yeah, we get inside there and we talk about it. We discuss it. And I always try to have this safe place inside of my sessions, which is, you know, we're not here to hurt and we're not here to judge. We're just here to talk. So don't tell me what somebody else did. Just tell me what you did. And then that gives the other person an opportunity to respond on how that made them feel. We're not going to point fingers and we're not going to slam each other and we're not going to, try to tear each other down. We're actually trying to build a happy house. And when we build a happy home, we do that by empathizing with the other person. You know, and a lot of times you'll hear couples say to each other, you'll hear parents say to their children and children say to their parents, I didn't know you felt like that. Because they never listen to each other. They just talk to each other. And I'm sorry, they talk at each other. They talk at each other instead of talking to each other and listening to each other. So, and it's okay sometimes. It's okay sometimes to bring other people in if that person feels that they need to clear the air. Let me say that. If they feel that this person does not understand where they're coming from or they don't feel like they can relay that to them in a positive way without becoming emotional, then they might ask that someone else sit in. And that's perfectly fine with me as long as they don't stay in. Unless, of course, they become my client as well. And then they're welcome to stay in. So, it's fun. I love it. I absolutely love what I do because I think that people want to feel like they make a difference. You know, they really do. They want to feel like I make a difference in this world and I'm not just invisible. And sometimes when you help them to build that back, build that foundation to where they feel like they can stand on their own, they can not only defend themselves but represent themselves, you give them power.
That's very important, to have somebody to support your decisions, your hopes, your dreams, your visions for the future. It's really important.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely important but a lot of times, even the people who are not inside of your household can tear you down or build you up just by their attitudes. You know, their attitude that what you're doing does not count. It does not matter. It does not measure up. It's not important as what someone else is doing. I mean, literally, it's just like arrows to the heart. It is amazing. And we all have to have our shield up and say that, you know what, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that I'm not making you feel that I am worthy. It's a good thing I already know that I'm worthy. It's a good thing. I don't need your permission to feel worthy.
Yes.
and that's a realization for them as well. It takes the power away from them. And sometimes people feel that they, and sometimes people are kind of bossy over each other. People kind of bully each other sometimes. But there's something about just holding on to your own inner strength and power and voicing that or showing that I love you or I like you, but I cannot be what you want me to be. I have to be what I was born to be. And that's power, and people might not like it, but they will respect it. They will. You hold on to that long enough, and you go and you keep achieving the things that you want to achieve that are positive. Now, negative things bring negative results. So I'm not telling anybody, hey, if you want to go and do drugs and say, hey, this is something that I want, and I don't care what you think about it. No, we're in a positive state of mind. Everything is about improving the life that you have, being a proper example to the people around you, because you'd be amazed at how many people actually look up to us. Everybody, you wouldn't even know it. Like, this guy said, well, you know what, nobody really looks up to me because I just go to work every day. But guess what? There is somebody out there that does not have a job or that is struggling really, really hard. But they see you going to work every day and you don't complain about it. You're an example of what it is to go out and do what you got to do. You're inspiring somebody, trust me. Always somebody looking. That's the thing. Just when you think nobody's looking in this world, somebody's always looking.
Yes. Because I'm working with women who have been in domestic violence situation and abuse, and I wrote 2 of my books based on this. And what is your opinion about domestic violence?
Actually, I work with the women of the NAACP in DeKalb County, Georgia, and we sponsor every year a domestic violence seminar in October. And we go out and we support women who are victims of domestic violence. I actually try to spend as much time as I can trying to help women to build the strength that I've described before now, so that they understand that just because they've been victimized, they don't have to remain a victim. Things can happen to us in this world, and we can live inside of that pain, or we can choose to get up and fight and move forward. And I have a very positive following of women who have been through so much that most people probably couldn't even survive it. But there is something about empowering these women to say, I know this happened to you, and I know that was really bad, but you don't have to stay there. Now, how are we going to make your life better? That happened right there. What else can we do to make your life better? And that group of women, we work at the women's shelter, a couple of in DeKalb County shelters, and it's women and children shelters, let me say that, because domestic violence is not just for the person who is being victimized, and I mean verbal and physical abuse. It affects the whole family, inside and out. You have a lot of people inside the house that might not be victimized, but they are victimized because they're a witness to it. And they need counseling too, and they need help, and they need to understand that they are not the reason. You didn't ask for this. You didn't cause it. It happened to you, but you can fight your way out of this by removing yourself if you can. And that's what we do a lot of times. We have safe houses, and we have places where when women need to move immediately, we have contacts for them to be able to immediately that day just move forward. even we don't know where they're going. Let me say that. Within our system, and the police, the DeKalb County Police is a part of this program, and it actually helps to get women to the place where they don't have the time, because most of the time when people come to you, they're already fed up. They're already so afraid, but they're afraid to leave. And most of them is because they can't afford to take care of themselves, or they don't want to break up their family, or they feel like it's, they did something to cause this. But it's really great working with organizations and like you're saying with your books, working with people who say it's okay. Things have been really, really, it's not okay. It's not okay that things have been really, really hard on you, and we can help you to rid that. We can help you to change anything that you are ready and willing to fight to change. And we do that.
Tell us about your success story working with a woman like this or a man like this who had been in abusive relationship or domestic violence.
I mean, oh my gosh, I think that domestic violence is a very strange beast when you start trying to determine whether or not it was a success story or not. Simply because in order for a person to move forward, they have to let go of everything they've known. And some people might say, wow, they got out. This is a success. But you have a lot of women who go back. And you have a lot of men who go back. And domestic violence rolls both ways. And we find that in our own county here, is that, success is really weird. And success is a long-term. It's not short-term victories. It's like, okay, they made it a day. Okay, they made it a month. Sometimes they stay gone forever, but the success part of it comes with the therapy and the therapeutic steps that are taken after they're gone. And then sometimes it's really weird that you might have a domestic violence situation where they don't want to be apart. And you're like, but you guys aren't good for each other. They're like, yeah, but we love each other. And you're thinking that there's success there. You're like, whew, wow, we did something great, but that's not their idea of success. So in my opinion, every situation is different. Only the victims themselves can determine if there was really a success that they feel good about, that they want to live with, that they feel that they fought for, and it was worth every sacrifice, every hard second that it took to do what they had to do. So coaching with domestic violence, I don't see coaching as a domestic violence subject. I see coaching as, now the only way coaching would be good with domestic violence is if you have come to the point in your life where that was your past, you're ready to move forward, you outline your journey. We have a 3-month coaching program. You are able, again, to be that ideal client that says that I'm leaving what happened. I'm trying to step away from that. I'm trying to let go of that pain. I'm trying to let go of these things. And now I'm ready to move forward. So that success in that would not necessarily be because of domestic violence. It would be the growth after, like a tornado. Yeah. When you rebuild, it's like a beautiful sunny day, and then out of the blue a tornado comes and it destroys the whole city, and then the sun comes back out. And I'm the sun. I'm right here. The sun is coming back out, and now it's time for us to rebuild. Do we want everything to be the same? Would we like to change a few things? What would you like? And that's where I come in.
Yeah, that's true. It takes desire. You have to acknowledge what happened to you, and you have to be ready to make the first step to start taking care for yourself. And sometimes victims of domestic violence, they're so damaged, they need a lot of work. But I think the work starts with themselves inside. They have to take the first step.
Definitely. And let me say this. I know that a lot of times people get life coaches and counselors and therapists all kind of confused. A lot of people, they feel like counselors, they help you the therapists help you look back. They help you to deal with what has happened and then how to deal with it, how to find peace with it, and they live right there. And then the counselors kind of help you to, okay, this has happened, and how can we kind of move, and what is your plan, but nobody is there to help you to achieve that. And that's where the coach comes in. Okay, we don't spend a lot of time in your past. And when I find you here, this is that place where, again, it's not always a tornado has been through that spot. It's just I need a little bit coaching. I need somebody to hold me accountable. Good word. I need somebody to hold me accountable for the things that I say I want to do. And I need people to hold me accountable as well sometimes. A lot of times if I want to achieve something, I'll throw it in the air. I'll put it out there. So that I force myself to look at it and force myself to work towards it. Otherwise, it remains a dream in my head. So, and that's coaching. Coaching kind of helps you to go and achieve. I stand with you, just like if you're running track, I'm going to make you mad sometimes because you're going to say, I don't feel like it. And my job is to say, okay. I know. Yes, exactly. But that's what you want me to be there for. You brought me in to do that. And I have to remind people of that sometimes, is that remember why I'm here. Remember why we do this. Remember. Because our sessions are only 3 months at a time. And the 3 months, every week is very vital. I have this program so tight, so ready for the next step. So while you're in this session, and our sessions are 45 minutes, and while we're in this 45-minute session, then we're preparing for the next one. We're not just talking. We're working. You might not see that we're working, but a couple of sessions down, I love this moment when people say, wow, Kinia, you said I would feel like this, or I can't believe this. Really? Oh, my gosh, I can't believe I did that. That's my perfect moment when people say thank you. Thank you for believing in me and believing that I can do these things. And that's a perfect moment for me.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah, to make somebody believe in themselves, to see power in themselves, that they can do it. Sometimes they unconsciously do it, and they're so happy, and they turn around and say, oh, my God, what I did, I can do it. It's amazing.
Exactly. But, Deanna, so you know this feeling, though. You understand how powerful that is for them. It's like you have to kind of instill that. In every session, I'm always like, okay, let's remember what your purpose is. What's your purpose? Because you told me, and I tried to make that into something that we can put in the car and drive down the street with. We're on a journey here. So we're packing up our bags, and I'm like, you got your purpose? Okay, let's go. Got the purpose. And now we're building up this little backpack for this journey. And I try to make it fun, and I try to make it interesting and not sad. Even if your situation might have just broken your heart, and it might be something that you feel that you'll never get over. Life has a way of renewing itself, but you've got to water it. You've got to give it something to renew. So my job is to help you find those things to renew. You might have it already within your environment. It might be in your household. It might be outside. But whatever it is, I am going to help you focus and find what it is that inspire you. So now we got your purpose. We're like, okay, I want to be like this. I want to do this. I want to be this kind of person. And this is the thing with me. I really know just through life itself, from being a kid and growing up and always being that person that wants to help people. Even when people tell me that they don't feel good about themselves, I go and I work really hard to show them all the amazing things about themselves that maybe they didn't even recognize, or maybe somebody else tried to belittle. And I want them to see how wonderful they are. You are amazingly made. God put you on this earth for a reason. Your purpose is to do more. How can you do more? And people start thinking, they start trying to decide, how can I do more? What can I do with my life to make it count? And it's fun. Mm-hmm. We do so many activities and so many projects within our coaching sessions that allow them to go outside of me. We have homework. Let me just say that. I'll just spit it on out. I'm trying to make it sound better. I do give homework. I give homework, and the homework assignments are really a way of building confidence. And it amazes me when people come back and say, Kinia, I spoke at church today. Kinia, I got up at work and I had an idea, and I finally told my boss about it. I finally did it. I've always been kind of, apprehensive about talking about things because I'm thinking that they're going to laugh at me. I'm like, that's the worst they can do. That is the worst they can do, is laugh at you. But there is something about opening your mouth and letting what is in out so that you can make a difference. And when you start doing that on a daily basis, you start to find what you're passionate about. Find your passion. Find what excites you. Find what makes you happy. And sometimes you don't know. Like forever, I thought mine was writing. I'm like, I love writing. This is my thing. I love telling stories. I was so happy. And my friend Jennifer, she tries to motivate me and my kids, and everybody says, oh, my gosh, you should write a book. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. One thing I found what I found out about writing was that I tell a better story than I write. Let me just say, it's like somebody else can write it for me, and we're exactly. I'm like, okay, everybody can't do everything, and I understand my limitations in life. But thank God for ebooks. Thank God for audiobooks. Thank God that there are other methods, and that's always the way. God has always been to where there, people say, okay, find a door, and then you walk through the door. But if that door does not open for you, there's always windows on this house. So find another way. There's always another way to accomplish the things that you want. You just got to do a little research. You got to have a little fun with it. Don't stress out about it. Don't let life drag you down. pick up life and drag it with you and show it what it's supposed to do. You're supposed to support me, I said. So you use life around you to support whatever you want to do.
Yes.
And
this is very important.
Part.
Yeah.
It is definitely important. Definitely.
Were you always the person at work or at school that everyone goes for advice?
I am. I have always been, even as a little kid. I have always, and I think it's because I have always been that person that people come and talk to, and sometimes not just for advice, but as somebody to listen. Because I can talk a mean talk. I can talk all day long. You probably noticed already, Lord. I'm just like, I'm a talker by nature. But I am just as great a listener. I listen with my heart. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm a body language. I watch your eyes. And it leads me to ask questions, and it leads me to open doors that I think you want to talk about. Maybe you don't know how to approach it. So even as a kid, I would have even some adults who would just sit down and talk to me because I listen. And I might not always know the answer because maybe I wasn't supposed to answer it. Maybe I was supposed to just receive it. Maybe I was supposed to be that person that you could share this thought with, share these feelings with. And in that, people started asking for advice. So what do you think about that? So what would you do in this case? Or how would you handle that? And I always respond from my heart because I empathize with what you're feeling. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody anything mean, even if they want me to. Even if they say, I think I should go and tell this person what's on my mind. It's in my spirit to say, why? What is it that you want to tell them? And that, do you understand that screaming and arguing is like talking to a wall? But if you really monitor and really take time to say what you want to say to that person without the anger or the attitude, they will hear you. And a lot of times people, they don't believe me. They're like, oh, this person will never listen. The only thing they listen to is you have to scream at them.
Exactly. Yeah, this is not a way of communication. Screaming and yelling at somebody is not the way. Nobody's listening. Nobody's responding to this kind of behavior. They're like, when you cool down, when you feel better, please come back and talk to me.
Exactly. Deanna, that's exactly right. But, sometimes emotions, emotions have a way of dragging down the best point of views. You might have a great point to make. You might be telling the truth. You might be right in everything that you're saying. But because of poor communication skills, nobody's listening.
Exactly.
Nobody got it. Yeah, nobody got it. So what's the point? So, I've always been that person that people can talk to and kind of get advice from, because they know I'm going to be fair. I am going to be fair. I understand that. I believe in karma, too. Let me say that.
Me too.
What goes around comes around.
Exactly. Can you tell us about Through the Looking Glass with Kinia Colbert?
Yes. That's my new baby. Through the Looking Glass with Kinia Colbert. Now, this is my family podcast radio show. It features children. Let me say that. It's centered around children. All the things that are essential to children to me. These are the things that I feel that children might not get the fair shake on. Sometimes things, I was raised with that children are meant to be seen and not heard. And sometimes as adults, we get so used to doing things for our children, but I wanted to give them an opportunity to do them together. So through the Looking Glass is an opportunity for me to interview authors about their books, illustrators, musicians, anyone that works with children, anyone that spends their life, their talented life, let me say that, because all these people are extremely talented to me, but they spend their life creating for children. And through the Looking Glass, it's just a view into everything that they do, all of their highlights, all of that personal behind-the-scenes part of the author. So children can call in, parents can call in, they can ask questions about their favorite books, they can discuss the illustrators. It's really fun to have the musicians on. We have songs that are catered just for children. This is a time where everything goes, with the internet and with cable and all of these other outlets. But this is a clean show. We keep it very child-oriented. It's very friendly. The environment is really, really cool. We have other activities that come from the show itself. So there's just so many different avenues for Through the Looking Glass. It's just a fun show. It's a fun show, but it is a family children's show.
Can you share us media places where people can contact you or learn more about what you do?
Definitely. Through the Looking Glass with KeniaColbert.com is my website, and it's all together, all one word, Through the Looking Glass with Kinia, spelled Kinia, last name Colbert, COLBERT.com. Also, Through the Looking Glass with Kinia, KINIA.com. We also have Coach Kinia at gmail.com. If you're looking for a special coach, if you're looking for something new and different, and you don't want to feel like you're with a therapist, if you want to feel like you're visiting a friend, if you feel like you want to just have a personal time to sit down and talk, reach out at me at coachkinia@gmail.com. I love just talking to people as well. So if there's questions that you have or you want to find out more, please reach out.
We're about 2 minutes to the end of the show. Would you like to share something else with the listeners today?
Yes, I would. I think that I would love to tell everyone that I am actually launching a new segment of Dreamcatcher Coaching Academy, and now I am moving and incorporating family and children coaching as well. And inside of this, we are really focusing on the struggles that children have. I noticed, and it came to me in so many different ways with Through the Looking Glass. Through the Looking Glass actually opened the doors to so many other issues and so many other, I don't want to say problems, but concerns that parents had about raising their children. And I was thinking about this thing, and I prayed on it so much because I do want to make a difference. I don't want to just exist. My goal is to see how I can make a difference in the world. And I said, you know what? It would be great to work with kids. I taught for years. Sunday school, I've worked with kids forever and a day. And I have my own kids, my own grandkids, and I am absolutely in tune with the issues that come from having children, from being a child that might be struggling with different things like social skills or lack of social skills, behavioral problems, attitude problems, authority figures. And you would be amazed, Deanna, how many families deal with these issues, but they don't know where to go. You know, they don't know how to solve this problem. And I really want to offer my services to families so that they can make it fun. Children don't open up very well to therapists. They feel like they've done something wrong. You know, they feel like there's something wrong with them. But there's something about saying a coach. And kids can relate to coaching. And in our coaching sessions, you know, with the children, we'll build self-confidence, how to manage their own lives. Because you would be amazed. I was with my granddaughter yesterday, and she's 6 years old. And children are so smart. Geez Louise, they know more than most adults.
Of course they do.
They are so smart, but they are not vindictive, and they are not harmed. You know, they are not at that point where they want to try to scratch their way to the top. They just want to coexist in this world, and it's just something about helping them and teaching them how to appreciate life, how to appreciate the little things, and that's what
exactly. The most important thing, how to appreciate life.
Yeah, how to appreciate it. But sometimes there are so many things in life that we as adults really try to prepare our kids for, but because we are not in the place of understanding what happened to us, we're not able to help anyone else. You know, we're ill-prepared, let's say that, you know, especially when it comes to divorce. You know, you're dealing with your own emotional issues. You know, you got your own things going on, and you want to be there for your family. And in family coaching, we learn how to coexist, how to respect each other's space, how to respect each other's feelings, how to empathize and understand that we all have our likes and dislikes, and that's okay. But there are such things as rules and respect that is expected. But it has to be taught. It's not just a given. And through our family and children coaching sessions, you know, we have the parenting workshops, self-esteem workshops, sibling rivalry. We just have so many fun things, but it's all centered around games. Everything is around games. It's all outside of an office. It's all family-based.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much, Kenia. Thank you for being on my show. You're wonderful. I wish you best of luck. Yeah, it's amazing how much you shared with us today. Wonderful, wonderful advice. Thank you, and I hope to have you on my show again. I would like to learn what you're doing. So thank you so much for the listeners who were with us today. See you next Friday.
You.
Goodbye. You're welcome.
Thank you, Deanna.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.